Bro, what the fuck?
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah. Ay. Huh. I just wanna touch the top. Baby said that she in love and she don't love a lie. Been chillin' with all the birds, I've been above the spot. Shawty said that things change, well it does a lot. Hey, watching out the payment, man, the sun is high. Yeah, lost inside the heart, but it's emerging right. I've been out the way and I'm good. I can find my home. Everything I said it was is not. Yeah, Jamaica, how you layin'? Yeah, you ain't say nothing, what you saying, baby? I lost you, but who's paying? Don't know why you hit my phone, why you playing? Yeah, I can't handle it without the trusting. Yeah, I can see the top, I wanna touch it. Yeah, we been getting money, no discussion. I don't like the top, and shorty always get the fussy. Yeah, hey, I like the cruise on it. Say she like the way I sound and how I groove on them. I been steady dodging bullets, how I move on them. But he talking out his neck and not a crew on them. Yeah, and I'm sliding. Shawty like the vibe, don't want the right to end. Yeah, to the nice end. Yeah, to the nice end. I can always keep the cool, I'm never fighting. Man, our love was all the cake without the icing. Now I found new love, different pricing. And it won't cost my soul, no devices. Yeah, I ain't got a plan for it, I'm the man for it. Silver Brody couldn't stand for it, it's very important. I've been off the edge, I've been feeling the wind blowing. I can lose my head and my heart, but they been gone. I just hit the head stairs when it's dead time. I just lost promises, I regret mine. I just gained a lot of love on the west side. I'm the go, but I would never be the best guy. You might take me out of business like I'm Best Buy. Talk about the go to maybe soon, I know that's right. Yeah. Talk about the go to maybe soon, I know that's right. Thinking about the future, looking good, and it's the best side. I remember.
Hola, welcome back to Ride the Tide podcast. I'm Mick Dilly. The other three should be arriving here shortly. It is season 2. It is episode, I don't know because it's not on the goddamn screen yet, but I do know one thing. I was doing this in my notes. Since we have started number 1, okay, on Ride the Tide, season 1 and season 2. This is in total our 90th total podcast. So we have 10 more, and that's 100. Just a little fun fact I wanted to throw out there.
For sure. Well, since Dylan didn't know, I'll tell you. This is Ride the Tide Sports Podcast, Season 2, Episode 32. He did get it right. He got the 90th part right. But with that being said, it's a beautiful day here in Michigan. Hope it's beautiful wherever the fuck you are listening to this goddamn amazing podcast this morning. But I am Tycho, the McDilly with the intro. Jesse and Luke also here today. We got a full crew. We got a good show for you. We're starting it off with some UFC today. And we got Pooch tuning in from work. Got a crowd watching. Here we go.
Beautiful.
Let's give them a good show, boys. UFC news is the first thing to start off with. Starting with Snoop, Luke. And with that being said, UFC.
I'm talking in guap, now I'm speaking it fluent. When I hit the road, I won't leave till I do it. Acting out of hand, I'm like, be what you doing. We started off good, can't believe that we ruined it, yeah. I tried to fix with a sewing kid, yeah. I tried to fix it, you know I did, yeah. I tried to fix it, you know I did, yeah.
You're muted.
No, I'm not. All right, we got some UFC news. Actually, first we got some Bellator news because an update on the Ukrainian Bellator champ, Yaroslav Amosov, is currently still fighting in Ukraine till this day and has skipped. Yesterday was supposed to be one of his title defense matches.
Okay.
And had to skip it because he's still in Ukraine fighting for his country. And he says, I did what I wanted to do. Yes, I understood I had a choice of leaving the country to train, but I don't consider myself anyone special. I'm just a regular citizen of this country as all the other guys that are at war right now.
I respect it because there's some things that are bigger than just fighting. There's some things that are bigger than your profession, and his profession is fighting. But when your country is on the line here, you got to drop everything.
Yeah.
If you're, a real man for your country. So I respect it 1,000%.
I respect the shit out of that. But next up, we got Nate Diaz joining the old lizard on UFC property and shares it himself. This man, Nate Diaz, has someone take a picture of him pissing on the property of UFC, put it on his Twitter, and said, "They still won't cut me. I don't give a fuck." Who the fuck is this man?
Dude, he's a fucking idiot. I don't understand.
He's so dumb for doing that, dude.
I don't understand.
I don't care who you are in this day and age. Doing that is just.
He's got some balls, bro. But here's the thing about Nate Diaz. He is a champion on Twitter. We know his social media skills, and we know what they are. Do you think this is just Nate being Nate?
This is Nate being Nate. There's no question about it.
He's just talking shit because he can.
Absolutely no question about it. Nate being Nate, just doing Nate things. Just Diaz typical things. Just being a menace. But next up, we have Stephen Thompson answering the call from Dustin Poirier, because earlier in the week, Poirier was calling out. He wants to fight. He doesn't care. 155, 170. Someone show up. He
called up the champ at one point, dude. I was like, shut the fuck up.
He said, someone show up July 30th. Let's go. And then Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's like, hey, Dustin, I'm down to scrap. July 30th. Let's go. Hashtag respectfully. And then Poirier responds, respect. So it's not really a yes or no, but like I'm assuming yes on that one.
It's a yeah. It's a fight.
Expect that fight being announced. Also, expect another fight being announced very soon, because we have Luke Rockhold signing a contract to fight Paulo Costa at UFC 277 live on an interview. Like, he got it in his inbox like an hour ago and signed it during the interview and then showed it on camera. I don't know why he just signed the contract to get decimated by Paulo Costa.
Why would you do that?
This guy is literally the bobblehead king of knockouts, bro. All he does lately is just get fucking punted. Well, not punted, but like just his head just gets fucking decapitated every time. He looks dumb when he gets knocked out. And I hate Paulo Costa, but like, you know he bangs, bro.
He does.
And he's about to fuck up Luke Rockhold.
100%.
But to finish off the UFC, let's get the actual fights that have been announced. Because we got Bobby Green coming back.
Who is he fighting?
Jim Miller. Give me Bobby fucking Green.
Who the fuck is Jim Miller?
Someone who's about to lose to Bobby Green. July 2nd, UFC 276. Yeah, that's who.
That's a Bobby win for sure. Jim Miller.
Now we got Vicente Luque going up against Goff Neal. August 6th, UFC Fight Night.
That could be an underrated fight.
That could be. But still give me Luque.
I knew that was coming.
And we got a women's match July 16th that I think is going to be a good matchup, because we got Michelle Watterson against Amanda Lemos. That's going to be a good
Have they fought before?
I honestly do not know.
I feel like they have, but I could be wrong.
I don't think they do, because it's not being hyped up as a second fight.
Okay. But then, yeah, I really like this fight. They got similar styles, bro.
Tyler's got a question for the group here that UFC people might also wonder. So does Dana White, do you think, just have like Twitter notifications turned on for all his fighters, because he has to like keep in the loop of who's trying to fight who on social media? Because that's kind of how they're like like
he has matchmakers.
How they're forming their contracts.
He has people on social media that do that for him.
Yeah, Dana doesn't push.
All right, because I feel like they just got to be like scouring, because like these guys basically like sometimes make their own matches with their Twitter beef, and then Dana just is like, okay, well, I see that you guys had some beef. You're in the same weight class. Why not just here you go? Here's some paperwork.
See, that will get seen and blown up, and that will get brought to Dana. Then Dana will probably go to the matchmakers and try to push that fight, and the matchmakers will make that fight.
That's a lot of things.
Sometimes the matchmakers are dumb, but
Dana can't just do everything.
For sure. I needed that answered.
Right.
But
I
with
hope
that
that
being
answered the
said,
question.
I think we go out to some NFL news now because we got some real interesting NFL news to talk about today. Starting with some news that happened on Thursday that we did not have a podcast until today, so we got to talk about it now. But on Thursday, Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, who newly just acquired superstar quarterback Russell Wilson, as everybody knows, was arrested on Thursday. People do not know why he was arrested. We're not sure what exactly he did, but he was arrested, I think.
I know.
He knows.
The ridiculous reason. Okay, so he got arrested because his girlfriend called the police on him because he locked her phone and the baby formula in the car, and she said that she just wanted her shit. And when she called the police, she said she didn't want him to get in any trouble. She just wanted her shit. And then shit escalated a little bit. He got arrested. But she's not giving him the charges. She's dropping all charges.
She's not pressing charges. Okay.
So he's Gucci.
For sure. So that was just
okay.
a blown out news story on Jerry Jeudy there.
I'm happy to hear that.
Hit her.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that.
There was no physical violence. He didn't hit her, and he didn't resist arrest. So that is actually really good to hear.
It sounds like he just dealt with some asshole cops, is what it sounds like.
Yes.
So, Jerry Jeudy, you're all good in the hood, man. You're good in my book.
Nobody mad at you.
You're good in my book. I'm glad that I finally heard some bad news about a football player, and it wasn't true, and it wasn't a catastrophe, and it wasn't, like, ruining someone's career, because I feel like the last 3 or 4 times it's come up, it's been really bad. So thank you, Jerry Jeudy, for cooperating and being a good citizen. But don't lock baby formula in the car, okay? Come on. Baby's got to eat. Next up, the Saints finalizing. It was the phone for sure. But the Saints are finalized a deal with wide receiver Jarvis Landry to bring him to New Orleans. Jesse, we'll cut right to you. I feel like it's appropriate.
I'm here for it because I don't like the wide receiver room, and we're trying to get Winston help. We're trying to have an actual offense, and our defense is juiced. So, yeah.
I'm a juiced low key.
Bro, I forgot we got Marcus May in the offseason. Dog.
Chris Olive, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, Mark Ingram, Elvin Kamara, Jameis.
Listen,
Winston.
I know you're just
not
naming,
a bad
but don't
offense at
say
all,
that name first.
I'm just reading the fucking list from the bottom to the top.
Skip it. Round back to it. You don't get to be listed first.
Kamara, Ingram, Thomas, Landry. Do you even want me to say his name?
Jameis Winston.
You just can't be first.
You just can't. He just couldn't be first.
So I will say your offenses, but here's my thing that I gotta ask you, Jesse, because every year,
yes,
Saints have a very good tendency of in the offseason, they'll bring a bunch of pieces over, and then they'll start off the season looking like a championship team. They'll play well, and then they'll choke in the playoffs. Listen. How do you think this year is going to be different?
This is a good question.
I believe this year is going to be different because usually there's a change in the offense and then like this much of a change in defense, but it was like the other way around. We changed a lot more on defense and did like some upgrades on offense. And I feel like last season we also stopped running plays where Kamara was going to be on the receiving end of it.
That's true.
And we played a really weird offense last year because we didn't have a quarterback that was actually going to be quarterback every week, knowing who was quarterback. So as long as Winston can stay healthy, I think they could have a solid season, but like only time will tell.
I think that's a big factor too that you just brought up is that like they had a different game plan for a different way they'd run offense every single week last year. It was a different format with a different person, or we're gonna do more rushing with Taysom Hill this time, or we want him throwing the ball now, or we're gonna do this with Kamara. So I think that actually is a good point because they can never just have one game plan. So.
And it was never the game plan I thought it was gonna be. Shit, give the ball. Nah, these niggas wanted to play through everybody else. Shit was crazy.
I agree. 2022 strength of schedule. Tyler's going to me because I have the noticeability of shit that I wanted to bring up from here. And here's one thing that I wanted to point out. I want to point out the top 3 teams and the bottom 3 teams when it comes to the strength of schedule. Because for those of you that don't know, the schedules have been released. First thing I do want to point out, every single team has a primetime game except for the Detroit Lions. Wow. We'll talk about that in a second, but fuck you guys. Okay, so when it comes to the teams with the hardest schedules, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, then the Arizona Cardinals, then the Los Angeles Rams. That is with the Rams having a 567% opponent win percentage. So the Rams are the Super Bowl champs, and now they're going to have to play a lot of good teams, but I think this is kind of what we expected.
When you say 567, are you reading it like is it like a batting? Like batting in baseball, so it's actually 56%.
Yes.
It just is listed as 567. Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
They just made it all confusing.
Like, yeah, it's a big ass number, but it's really just 56%, boys. It's a little over 50.
And then I'm gonna read the bottom 5 for schedule because I just think this is really funny. It is the Lions, and then it goes Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders. That whole division.
That's hilarious because they all have to play each other, and that essentially means that their division's so bad that it's not hard to play in that division. Like you're playing in that division, like you have divisional matchups, sure, like, but you know, all the teams in your division are pretty bad, so
the one thing
it's not that hard.
Here is if Dallas has a good year, like if they have a good roster and they stay healthy,
it's going to be Dallas versus Philly in that division.
They have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. So they are.
That's if they don't fumble their own bag, though. That Dallas is notorious for fumbling their own bag when they're doing good in the season, and it ends up killing them, regardless of whether their strength of schedule is tough or not. And I don't look too far into strength of schedule because the NFL is so wild, and every week like there's a new like trend that no one ever expected, where like all the underdogs win, or like, you know, everyone gets blown out. Like every week there's something wild shit in the NFL to where strength of schedule, I really don't read into it too much.
Right, but I do want to ask Jesse one question because I want to talk about the Bengals real quick, because Cincinnati came from a team that last year they only had 1 primetime game. Now they have 4, so they're getting their respect there. And they have
when you go to the Super Bowl,
they have a harder schedule than the Chiefs, than the Buccaneers. And then many of these stacked teams, only schedules that are harder than them are the Cardinals and the Rams. So Jesse, I
personally have to say, I feel like this has everything to do with just going to the Super Bowl before Jesse says anything. But I feel like it has everything to do with the fact that they've shown that they could make it to the Super Bowl. So, like, they're going to get a tough schedule.
Yeah, but I wonder how he feels about this schedule now.
Same shit, new season.
You don't think it's going to change anything?
Do what we do. Don't change nothing.
I think it's going to change.
It only changes the odds of us coming out as the champions of the division. Because Baltimore is a whole nother team. The Browns are still shit.
Not if Deshaun's got anything to say about it. That's gonna be problematic.
I've been forgetting that. That like
at least like week 4 or whatever.
I haven't heard about a suspension, and there's no way they let him walk into the league no suspension.
No, there's no way. But like, I have no idea who the Browns quarterback's going to be for the first 4 weeks. There's no way they get Baker to play.
Case Keenum, come on back.
Oh my.
He's the third string.
They might have to. I mean, sometimes you just got to pull that trigger because you don't have any other option at all.
And go on the free agent market. I'm sure like someone like Flacco will be there.
Okay. Moving on. We got the NBA playoff update, starting with a game that took place last night.
Jesse's gone.
Jesse. I was going to say, man, come on. The Warriors eliminated the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies without Ja, again, just could not muster up the points to come out on top against the Warriors. And let's just say the Warriors, yet again in the fourth quarter, bang, 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 just did their thing and went off. Because that's what they did most of this series. If they won the game, it was primarily Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson found his stroke. It is a problem now. Good luck.
He
everybody
found
else.
their stroke when they got blown out. He's the only one that
Yeah.
shot.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Now him and Steph and Poole all have their stroke, and it's problematic. But that's enough from me. Any other takes on the Warriors eliminating the Grizzlies?
Doesn't? Actually, I want to say this real quick. Klay and Poole switched. The last 3 games, Klay has decided to ball, and Poole is shooting 4 for 15, 2 for 10.
See, what I don't understand is why you have to poop on one of the 3 of them every time when they don't. All 3 of them don't have to go off. They don't, because if one's balling, one doesn't. One's obviously passing the ball, so they're not taking all the shots. So he's the one that's hot, and then maybe second half it switches. But it's why it's a team sport, buddy pal. Anybody but Dylan. Anyone other than Dylan, because Dylan just wants to pick on whatever one of the 3 of them doesn't do good.
This is exactly what happened when the Warriors came back on OKC from a 3-1 and then lost 3-1 in the finals. The Grizzlies played the whole last series from behind and then had the lead in this series and kept getting beat from behind.
Flip-flop history, man. Flip-flop history.
But at least I know that it's more likely the Suns will not make their way to the finals. So
and just for a quick second, we're gonna get into that real quick. But I'm gonna remove myself and I'm gonna remove Jesse because this is not.
It's Game 7.
It's Game 7, motherfucker. I'll tell you.
And it's getting fucking hot. It's getting fucking hot, Stevie. Because the Suns are gonna be cooking. This Game 7, baby. They're on the revenge tour. Not even Luka can stop them.
Luka has stopped them multiple times, and he'll do it again in Game 7.
The series ain't over, so he hasn't stopped them.
He'll drop another 30.
Do you know who's going to be stopped? Luka, but the Suns.
And it will be great. And the Suns will lose.
And then after the Suns take Game 7, they're going to march on against the Warriors, dethrone Steph Curry to move on to the finals, to win the finals, get themselves a ring, and complete the revenge tour, okay?
Not happening at all. Not even close. You and Tyler
Luka ain't getting in the way,
I'm going to knock out your favorite team. Then I'm going to come in and knock out his favorite team. So you're both going to hate me at the end of the playoffs, and I'm going to be perfectly okay with it because I'm going to be sitting here with my fucking Luka Magic hat on, all happy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean a single thing to me because at the end of the day, I know deep down that Luka Magic, low-key, only needs him to show up, and I'm not worried about Game 7. Genuinely. If Luka dies, we're fucked. But if he's alive, we're good.
If he's alive, y'all have a chance.
Bro, you better... Hey, Zach?
Oh, Zach.
You want to start now?
Zach, you don't even want to start.
Suns are going to... Oh, he's on my back. Yeah. Fuck you, Luke. Fuck the Suns. Let's go, Zach.
Oh, he's just mad the Wild choked the first round.
I was about to go in on it, but I realized he actually was defending me for once.
Oh, Zach, I'm going to be sending you a picture after this pod. Just know that.
But anyways, bet the Mavs if you're a Mavs guy. Bet the Suns if you're a Suns guy. It's pretty biased down the middle here. Jesse, do you have any reason in the middle?
You know what? I'm gonna just keep it like this. So, the Suns are at home. The Mavs perform best at home. I don't see the Mavericks winning this. And if the Mavericks did win this, they do not have the steam to compete with Golden State. So I want Phoenix to win this game. But like at the same
Pushed
time,
out pretty quick, did you?
At the same time,
like I'm with Jesse
to get by. So I'd love for the Mavs to beat them, but like
I understand where you're coming from.
I want the Mavs to win, but I don't want to watch
3v1.
The Mavs get swept by the Warriors because the Mavs will get swept by the Warriors. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dylan, but the Mavs would probably get swept by the Warriors, or they might lose one, or they might win one. My bad. But I feel like for basketball's sake, it needs to be the Warriors and the Suns because that's at least a 6-game series. So for basketball and playoff sake, so that I don't have to see, like I know Luka's probably gonna, there's a good chance he could pop off for like 50 fucking points and win the game, but at the same time, if he does that, I don't know if he's gonna have enough juice to get past the Warriors by himself because he is the team.
Right.
So I don't know. I want the Mavs, but for sake after this series is over, I think it needs to be Phoenix and Golden State, and that's what I thought it was going to be.
I really don't. Okay. I think Phoenix will lose in 5 too if they play Golden State. So I don't think there's really a big difference.
Well, if Chris Paul doesn't learn how to shoot in the second half, for whatever reason he stopped.
Hey, Chris Paul can wake him up. That'd be nice.
I don't know what's up with dog. He was lighting the fire. He was getting.
And then
ever since he shot perfect that one game
series.
Yeah.
Now, ever since he shot perfect that one game, he's like, all right.
Out of gas. Give me a
it's up to you guys now, boys.
Milwaukee and Boston are also headed to a Game 7. Jason Tatum decided that Game 7 needed to happen in Boston, and he made sure of it.
Can we talk about Game 6?
What do we think, boys? Yeah, let's talk about it.
You know what I think? I lost one finals team. I'm not losing both.
Can we talk about this?
Give me Boston!
Yes!
All right, I want to talk about this stat line from Game 6 because holy shit. So first off, fucking Giannis had 44 points and 20 rebounds, and that wasn't even the leading stat line. That was over on the losing team because Tatum dropped 46. These two just balled out back and forth the entire game, and it was an incredibly fun game to watch from start to finish. This is one of the most fun, I would say, I've had watching playoff game all year. This was my favorite game.
That was the best East game. Don't do that.
That was the best what? East game.
Game in the East. East.
Oh, East game. Yeah. I didn't know what East meant. But anyways, fucking 40-point battle either way. And fucking Brown and Marcus Smart each had 22 points, 21 points. Boston was balling, dude. We knew this game was going to go to a Game 7. I mean, this series. We knew it from the jump.
Boston better not lose at the crib Game 7.
I got Milwaukee in Game 7.
I don't think Boston fans will ever live it down. They'll forever hate Giannis.
Well, how Phoenix and Dallas is kind of like whoever the home team is right now, they're winning. This series has been the opposite. So it's weird.
Milwaukee could do it just as well as Boston. It's whatever team shows up that night. And the last series we got up here, Miami advances past the 76ers. The 76ers for the 13th goddamn time cannot make the playoffs, and they cannot make it to the final.
You know who the fucking problem is? It's not the 76ers. The 76ers haven't had as good of a team they had this year.
Who's the problem?
James Harden. James Harden is a choke artist in clutch time every time it comes down to it. This man gets one good game out of 10 in the playoffs, and that's if you make it to 10 games in the playoffs. This nigga has no consistency whatsoever in the playoffs. It makes me sick that he does all this shit regular season just to disappear as soon as shit gets crunch time.
He shot 4 for 8 with 10 assists. He's a role player now. We just had this conversation last podcast.
Bro, but you're still trying to act like you're that guy.
Well, he also said he's coming back next year, and Embiid said that he was happy about it because it's a different Harden. Embiid said after the game in a press conference that this is not the Houston Rockets Harden, and that's not the Rockets, and that's not the Harden that we want. We want a role player, and he's the best.
How you want the Houston Rockets Harden?
He said he's the best role player on the team. This is a different Harden, and it really is a different Harden.
He needs 15 points at most.
The problem is Maxey is good, but I don't think Maxey is going to be.
He doesn't need to be. They still have Tobias. They still have 4 players to be options.
Tobias was worse than. You want to talk about a choke artist? Then let's talk about.
He never even been to the playoffs. Dog's a baby to the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs like twice.
Yeah,
once.
Tobias can't do shit in the playoffs. I'm sorry. He really.
You paying attention to this season? You have no idea what Tobias did last season, do you?
Last season in the playoffs or last season in the regular season?
Last season in the playoffs.
Last season in the playoffs, he did good. I'm talking about this season.
But what I'm saying is, you saying he bad in the playoffs. He was bad.
You called Harden the problem.
This nigga Harden has done this every playoff season he's been in. That's the reason he doesn't have a ring.
That's not true. No, wait. No, you're gonna no. Let me finish. Before you look it up, let me finish because I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say. He did it for 3 games against the Warriors series. He did
it for 6 seasons. The Warriors series. 6 seasons. Every season he touches playoffs, he chokes. This nigga can't do shit.
And then they were up 3-1, and then he fucked it.
Crunch time, gone. Where is Harden? I don't know. Can't find him.
I agree. He was like McDavid before this year. Just a regular season phenomenon in Houston, and then he gets to the playoffs, and you'd be like, bro, what the fuck? You just won MVP.
I have no idea what happens to him. Like, yes, he's a bucket getter. Yes, he can ball. But when it comes down to crunch time, he's be choking.
I feel like Harden's that guy that you would look at to take the last shot, but he can't. Like, if you need 2 seconds, you need a buzzer beater, especially in the playoffs, something like that. On that team, you'd want to look to Harden, but you got to go to Embiid or Maxey. It's a damn shame. But now, we go over into the baseball. We go over to the quote-unquote boring sport. But now it's time for the MLB update with McDilly. I'm McDilly, and here's the update. Starting off with the first piece of news, and that is that Robinson Cano got released. It didn't take him long for a new team to pick him up, which I'm happy they're doing, and I'm really, really not surprised that this happened. And that is the San Diego Padres. They are in contract talks, and I believe they have been expected to and already now officially signed Robinson Cano to a deal, or I believe he's only there 1 year. And I like this a lot because you already have Cronenworth at second base. You know he's good. If he ever needs a day off, you put in Cano in. I mean, that's a great backup to honestly have, and he's a great veteran for the younger players on the team. And unless he doesn't pull a Tannehill and is like, I don't give a fuck about the younger players, everything's good there. And I think this is a good play for San Diego. Another thing I want to point out, and Luke, you'll probably get a kick out of this one, and that is the fact that a lot of people still don't know that the Arizona Diamondbacks are a good team. And a big thing that I want to point out is their pitching. Madison Bumgarner's ERA is a 1.27. Zach Gallen's ERA is a 0.95. And Merrill Kelly's ERA is 1.22. They're not letting up runs.
They aren't. They're acting a little dangerous, Dylan. And I'm liking it.
They are. Zach Gallen could fucking make a Cy Young run. I'm going to be so honest, dude.
They're acting dangerous in a dangerous division. Oh, my God. That's the thing
looking beautiful. You got to remember, too. They're in the best division in baseball right now, especially in terms of offense.
This is literally what I've wanted to see for them to do something stupid. To maybe make playoffs. To maybe.
And what's crazy is they don't even have an offense, really. They just have Seth Beer.
Seth fucking Beer, dude. That guy. He's
great, dude. He's a great player.
Every time I'm looking at the Diamondbacks game, it's always Seth Beer doing something fantastic.
How you muted?
He needs a beer jersey.
He really does. It's overdue.
Yeah. After he hit that walk-off on National Beer Day.
Luke, opening day.
Luke, that Serpentines jersey that you have.
No, it was.
There's no last name on that boy, right?
No. It's about to be Beer.
Gonna have to get one stitched on there for sure.
About to get Beer on that bitch.
I mean, I don't blame you. But another thing I do want to point out, it is that the Phillies almost did it again. And by almost did it again, I mean they did it again, but then they got lucky. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, talk about the other night, the Phillies blew an 8-1 lead to the Mets, and it was a whole thing. And we bashed the Phillies and yada, yada, yada. They did it again. They went into the fucking 9th inning, 7-1 against the Dodgers, and we leave the 9th inning 7-7. How bad is your bullpen? Holy shit. This is something you see maybe once in a couple years. You've done it twice in a fucking month. Your bullpen is god-awful. We've always known that there's been a problem with your rotation, and your offense top to bottom is yoked, but it doesn't mean shit because your bullpen's always been ass. There's never been a better factor to prove this stat than what I've seen in the past month. You guys have Castellano, Schwarber, Harper, Real Muto, Hoskins. Everyone's bashing the baseball right now. And you're still losing, and you're not fucking playing as good as everyone knows you can because you have to come up and score 7-8 runs a game because you know that every team is going to put up 5-6 runs against you. It's fucking bad. Exactly what that says. The bullpen is bad. And unless these guys go shopping in free agency and maybe take one of these power bats they have to get a closer or get a couple fucking relievers, they're not going to go anywhere if they make playoffs. They're going to go out first round because in playoffs, you need a bullpen, which they do not have at all whatsoever. Do any of you guys have a comment on this real quick just because it happened again? Real quick. Tyler, just because you hate Philly.
You saw what I typed.
Okay. Also, player of the week goes to, believe it or not, this is actually one of my favorite baseball players of all time, Giancarlo Stanton. This man, Giancarlo Stanton, and the Yankees are going crazy. They are the home run leaders, the top 6 in the American League. 3 of them are Yankee players, that being Stanton, Judge, and Rizzo. So the Yankees are playing first-place baseball right now. They're bashing the ball, and they're finally doing the thing that after they get all these pieces and all these players, and you're like, they should be really good. Why are they not good? They're finally good this year. They're finally just showing, hey, we're going to use our talent. We're going to stay healthy, and we're going to win games. And they've been doing it pretty consistently. So Giancarlo Stanton is the player of the week. He had 7 runs, 9 hits, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. His slugging was over 900. He had 3 home runs in the past 2 days, I believe. He has been absolutely bashing the baseball. When you play at a softball field like New York, and then you have all these power bats that now want to start getting going at the same time, it sucks to play the Yankees right now. That's all I could really just say. But that is the MLB update. Thumbs up. Now on to hockey.
All right, boys, let's get into it here. The NHL playoff update, starting with the Blues advancing past the Minnesota Wild. I know our boy Zach
there goes everyone's
this
bracket.
one. And there goes everyone's bracket because everyone at least had the Blues losing to the Wild. But thanks, Zach, for blowing that one, really getting the boys on the Wild train there. But
you sold me on this shit, bro. I thought you guys were at least
what it
in
is.
the fucking conference finals.
It is what it is.
That's not what I want you to tell me, Zach. I want you to tell me what happened, what went wrong, and why you're in this position and how the fuck you guys lost.
Yeah, Zach, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this at all, but the Blues did advance past the Wild and yet again are advancing past the first round. The Blues, man, are they becoming a good playoff team?
They're dangerous in the playoffs, bro. I had a bad feeling, bro. I was like, the Wild should win this. They really should go on, but the Blues, you can be dangerous. And what happened? They really turned it up the notch and said, we're taking this series in 6.
They remind me of the Kings. It really doesn't matter what their record is. The second they hit playoffs, they're going to play good hockey.
Yeah, honestly. They're playing just like the Kings, and I feel like those two teams are really similar when it comes to playoff hockey, where it's just like, I don't really know any players on this team, but they're good.
Hey, I know this might sound stupid as fuck to say, but I have to ask. Binnington is still the goalie, right?
No.
What happened to Binnington?
He started sucking.
Oh, well, that's a damn shame. Who's their goalie now? That was my question originally.
I can't name his name off the top of my head, but I know who it is. Give me 2 seconds.
You're good, Zach, bro, and also you're good. I understand that you're in a grievous time right now. We all grieve different, like Kendrick said on the album. Got you, bro.
Totally fine. But the next series we got up is the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are playing in Game 7 tonight because Tampa Bay won in overtime because Toronto was not able to close out for the 9th consecutive time in a row when they had the opportunity to clinch a series. They fail yet again. Tonight is attempt number 10 to win a series.
Come on, 10's the charm.
Can they do it? They
can't.
Neither team this whole series has been able to win 2 games back-to-back. The trend will continue.
I'll be so mad if Tampa wins, bro. I'll be so fucking pissed. You guys were lost. This is bullshit. Matthews was playing the hockey we wanted him to play. I've never rooted for a Toronto team more in my fucking life. I will be so pissed if you guys win.
You've definitely rooted for the Blue Jays harder than this.
No, rarely, because the Blue Jays.
You went hard for the Blue
I've been
Jays
a fan
in
of
the
them.
playoffs last year, my
Last year,
guy.
if they would have went to the playoffs, I would have rode them hard as fuck.
You were on that end of the season when they got screwed. You were fucking going nuts. So
Yes!
I think that you're a little harder for the Blue Jays, but it is what it is.
But right now, I'm a fucking Maple Leaf fan.
Well, so am I.
I think Zach's got the little upset, a little confused because Tampa's the one they're about to be the upset team, beating Toronto, being the Heartbreakers, and fucking Toronto's going to be the ones choking that Game 7 away, the series away, losing another fucking first round. Bye-bye.
We're going to find out tonight. Toronto and Tampa Bay, Game 7 at 7 o'clock.
Right there. When Tampa loses, I want that clip.
Okay. You know where to find it right here on Ride the Tide Sports Podcast. Next up, the Bruins force a Game 7 with the Carolina Hurricanes. I took the Bruins in this series as the sleeper team. It took them a while to start scoring against the Carolina Hurricanes, both in the regular season and in the playoffs. But now we are at a Game 7 in Carolina, Boston and Carolina. Dylan, I know, has Carolina. I definitely have Boston. I want to hear from Luke, and I want to hear from Jesse.
Okay, I got Carolina. I had them in the series, but here's the reason why. I'm pretty sure every single home team has won their game. There has not been an away victory, and that's why
it's not a real series.
No, that ain't true because Carolina was up 3-1.
Oh yeah, that's facts. Boston.
Oh wait, that's true.
Because yeah.
But regardless, at home, I like Carolina a lot better at home than playing in Boston because they cannot seem to ultimately get their shit together when they go in Boston.
Go Canes, baby.
The crowd gets to him too much.
You know who Jesse's got? He's got the same champion as me.
The Canes are literally my shit. Like, I can't just... You think I'm thinking the Bruins are going to win?
So he has Boston. Got it.
Oh, fuck no. Fuck
Well,
Boston.
I think that Brad Marchand's going to be a little ratty in Game 7. I think it's going to be a chippy one. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be an overtime game.
I do as well.
I might think you can bet overtime, and I might be confident with that.
Speaking of overtime, I thought I was going to go right into the fucking game. Damn, that would have been perfect.
You were really close, but I'll ruin that for you. Oilers force a Game 7 with the Kings. They also, I feel like, are in the similar situation to Toronto, where they kind of, as a team with such a superstar as Connor McDavid, the same way that Toronto has Austin Matthews, you need to win this series, boys.
Did you watch the first 2 minutes of the game? Just the first 2 minutes?
No, I did not watch the first 2 minutes of that game.
18 minutes and some seconds in the first period. McDavid got the puck on the other side behind the Oilers' net. He skated down the ice, half ice, passed it to his teammate, immediately got it back, continued skating end to end, did a wraparound and scored. He went end to end and did a wraparound goal.
That's what speed does to you.
Like, this man is playing the hockey that we've been waiting for McDavid to play in the playoffs, and he's done it game after game.
Hey.
Every game, I go on ESPN, and I see a McDavid highlight of how he walked through 3 people, or how he went end to end, or the shit that he would do in regular season, but he's doing it in the playoffs, which is huge.
Only one of these two stars are moving on, and it ain't Matthews. It's McDavid.
Both
Maybe
of
they
them.
both are.
Both of them.
Yeah, I think they both are, actually.
You can clip me in my downfall or my uprising. I don't give a damn.
But speaking of overtime,
That's the clip I want. That's the clip I want.
Bucket.
All right, well, we got 2 clips for this, whether it goes either way. Perfect. But now we can talk about the overtime game. We can talk about probably one of the best series that's been going on, and that is the Florida Panthers and the Capitals. So the Capitals made us think for a minute, hey, we're going to go up 2-1. Maybe we got them. Florida said, wait a damn minute now. We're one of the best teams in hockey right now. That shit ain't going to happen. Overtime win, another win, and then last night, another overtime win on the road, and Florida wins Game 6. I mean, I think we all kind of had Florida winning, so we're not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm surprised that they just won 3 in a row and just said,
hey, look, Florida cooked in the regular season, and they can cook just as well in the playoffs. And I think if Florida's buzzing the right way, they can ride this ship all the way to the finals. And I have them going to the finals, so I think that this is exactly what I expected. I expected them to find their groove just like they did in the regular season. And when they found their groove against the Caps, they just hammered it home.
See, the only thing that scares me about the Panthers is their consistency to let the other team get up in the game early first, so they're forced to come back. They have the offensive power to pop off and come back easy if it's only a couple goal lead, but they cannot keep doing that if they want to actually make a deep run.
Yeah, you guys can do that
now. Figure that shit out.
Agreed.
If you do that shit against like Colorado or something, it's not gonna work. You're gonna be down 3-4-0.
Honestly, any teams from the next round up, you can't really be doing that anymore.
No, I think they could against St. Louis. I think they could against St. Louis. They'd be able to get away with it.
Don't play St. Louis.
You said any team from the next round. They would be in the next round.
Like, okay, I guess.
Well, yeah, but that's
the
impossible.
other side.
But
I'm not thinking conferences.
Shut
bro. I don't even
front
know
door, Dylan.
Think a little realistic, eh?
I don't even know.
And Calgary are also going to a Game 7. I feel like almost every series went to a Game 7 other than the sweep of Colorado, or Colorado and Nashville. That series was a sweep, but other than that, it's like Game 7, Game 7, Game 7. And I love it.
The NBA.
I love it.
Except
I like what the playoffs are doing.
Popping right now. Popping. But this is Game 7 weekend. The Stars are forcing a Game 7. How do we feel this one's going to go down, boys?
The Stars.
Flip a fucking coin. I don't know.
They're about to do it, bro. They're about to do it. They just gotta keep the low scoring games. Just gotta keep doing and keep chipping at Calgary. They'll do it, bro. They will do it. And then they're gonna move on to stunt fucking Oilers after they fucking win their series. Oh my god, the Stars. I told you guys, Calgary is the worst best team. They're about to choke it against the Stars.
I have Calgary, but at the same time, I have no fucking idea who's going to win this game. This has been the weirdest series.
It is, because Calgary should really
the
be
only thing I would bet?
Not that
I
good.
bet the under for goals. That's about it, because that's the only consistent thing I've seen, is that they are just not scoring a whole lot of goals this game, or this series.
It's a really, really mucky series, in my opinion. It's just all muck, all grind, no finesse. It's not a finesse series.
Which makes it harder to tell who's going to win.
Exactly.
Yeah, most goals scored, I think, was 5 until last night or the other night when Dallas hit 6, went in 4-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I know the first 4 games of the series were all under 5 goals. I know that.
So final question here for the boys.
5, but
final question of the podcast, because that's all the news we have. Stars and Calgary over under 5.5. What do we got?
Under.
Give me the under in that.
Over.
Jesse, I know you're muted. I saw the over. Why?
Life's too short to get the under.
This man.
Tell that to the first fucking games how many games they played.
Jesse wants the goal.
Game 7, definitely.
And it's the Game 7 too, yeah.
All right, that's all we have for today's episode of Ride the Tide Sports Podcast, Season 2, Episode 32. Thank you for joining us. We will be back with you guys after this weekend. We'll catch up with you guys on Wednesday after some more playoff games. We'll have all the wrap-ups of these Game 7s. We'll know exactly what the next rounds are looking like.
Tampa loses.
I am very excited to talk about that on Wednesday. Until next time, make sure you guys check out sixpackcoverage.com to find our podcast and find all of the other podcasts on sixpackcoverage.com, as well as some awesome merchandise, like some of the merchandise you see us wearing on the podcast and the flags that you see behind us. You can find all that on sixpackcoverage.com. Go to the shop section. Get yourself some merchandise today, because this shit's hard. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
It's your place or it's mine, so